And for what was it, 118 days or whatever
Right.
it was,
Yeah.
that we stood in solidarity. And I really felt proud of being a union member, and them having our back. I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, we need to stand together as union members so that they can support us in the ways that we need to be supported.
I'm home court, you standing trial. Why ain't I see you?
Very popular show, The L Word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wait, what year? Because wifey used to watch that. What year?
It was.
I think it was 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was in season 3, and then I think in the beginning of 4, like maybe just the first episode or something. But yeah.
What was your experience like with The L Word?
I was really happy and excited to be invited onto the cast. At the time, it was a complete pioneer. I mean, nobody else
No,
had
that's
done
right.
a TV show like that.
That's true.
And I think it's important to be able to promote loving whom you choose. I mean, my sister always supported that. I mean, I've been outspoken about, dating men and women. And I think, the more that things are spoken about, the less of a stigma it becomes. I mean, look at it now. Even how many years is it later? 15 years later, the scope of things has changed so much because people talk about it,
Right.
And I think that's the most important
they
thing.
say it's nothing new under the sun, So
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's just become more acceptable. Do you consider yourself, well, let me ask you, when you did The L Word, had you already identified yourself as would you say you're bisexual, or would you say
Yeah.
you're sapiosexual?
What's sapios? There's all these new terms that I don't think I'm quite up on yet.
Meaning that it's more
Intellectual,
like rather man or woman, just who stimulates you intellectually, and that's who you kind of.
I don't know if that's any different than bisexual anyway. Maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe it is. I mean, for me,
I'm
it is
guessing.
always about the person.
I'm guessing. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe a
first.
little.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit.
And yes, I had been.
Okay.
I'd already been outspoken, and I think as soon as they caught wind of that, it was like, we got to get her on the show, because a lot of people at that time weren't talking about it.
Right. Right.
But again, with the support of my sister, it was like, why it's a non-issue. It should never be an issue.
Right. Right. That was a pretty big show, though.
Oh, it was huge. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you win? Did that show win any awards?
Probably.
Okay. You say you just did the work and kept it moving, huh?
It's funny to say that you have to talk about it and it should be a non-issue, but it's going back to like the Me Too movement. It continues to be an issue. You've seen Roe v. Wade overturned, and you've
my gosh!
And you've seen, as soon as they overturned it, what the black Supreme Court justice, he was the first one to be like, "Yeah, we're gonna go after gay rights next."
Yeah,
like,
right.
That was the next thing we were targeting.
Yeah.
I was like, we're overturning women's rights and gay rights now. That's
Yeah,
what
it's
we're doing.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't seem.
I would never understand how you can tell a woman what. Like, I can never wrap my head around that.
No, what to do with your body and
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So we again, it should be a non-issue, but it keeps become somehow.
Well, it's evolved. I mean, for sure, since that time, and I think it's because of shows like The L Word that showed same-sex relationships in, albeit slightly more glamorous, but like normal, day-to-day experiences. And my character on the show was bisexual, if I'm remembering correctly, and she had a son. And that's how she meets the love interest, Kate Menig's character, who had a much younger brother. So again, it's like, this is a real experience. This is a real family, and there were other couples, that had a child on it. And so I think it helped see couples in a different light.
But that's
Same-sex
crazy. The
couples.
fact that you have to humanize other people.
I
Like,
know.
you're already human. They
Right.
already,
Yeah.
that's so weird.
It's a lack of respect. It goes back to like
Exactly.
the other
Yeah.
thing where it's
Being that your parents are obviously from a different generation, were they supportive in that?
With me?
Yes.
In the show?
No.
Or on a personal level?
On a
well,
personal
and
level.
your sister, I guess.
Well, yeah. I mean, my sister really broke the mold. So, I think they ultimately just really want their daughters to be happy.
Okay.
wherever that went. I think for them, they still were under the guise of, well, it's easier, to be in a heterosexual relationship, and we want an easy life for
Right.
you.
Right.
But ultimately, yeah, I mean, I think whomever I was with, they would support.
Okay. That's dope. That's dope.
Mhm.
Now fast forwarding to strike.
Mm-hmm.
So finally done with. What are your thoughts on the strike? And well, let me just ask that first part question. What did you agree with what they were fighting for?
Oh,
For the strike?
absolutely. There really needed to be an overhaul on so many levels within the guild. And, I've been a member of the guild for many, many years now, but I never really knew what my position was until recently when I really had to look at it. And through COVID, producers started to, because of these hefty COVID compliance fees, they wanted you to start working non-union. And, they'd throw a lot of extra money out there. Hey, do my project and I'll pay you X amount. And, it's non-union. And I was like, I had never been asked to do a non-union project. I mean, maybe since the very beginning of my career, because nobody did that before. I mean, this is just one example, right? But there are all these ways and loopholes where producers started to try to get crafty. And I was like, this is not fair. This is not right. I have worked long and hard to have the position that I have within the union and to get paid into my pension and health and for my child. And that needs to be upheld. And I shouldn't have to work in a way that's sub-level and subpar to what I've been doing. And, I ended up actually, because there's all other things I could lose. I could lose in my standing in the union and thereby be blacklisted and never be able to do a union project again. I could never have the opportunity to, even if I declared FICOR, which is another level, a financial core, you could do a hybrid, but then you also lose ever getting nominated for a Screen Actors Guild Award. You're kind of demoted. There's all of these reasons why I mean, and look, everybody can do what they want to do. That's their choice. But I really sat with why it was important for me to uphold that. And I turned away a lot of money for my beliefs. I mean, that's just how I am, to really stand for that. And I actually wrote letters to various producers during that time who asked me to work non-union and explaining why it was really important. Hey, I'd love to do your job. I'd love to make the money, and I'd love to work with you. But these are the reasons why I'm holding out. And so anyway, that whole voice, and they actually responded to me favorably, and they said, you know what, thank you. We appreciate that. And, when we have a union project, we'll let you know. So I'm so glad that it's now done.
Yeah.
And for what was it, 118 days or whatever
Right.
it was,
Yeah.
that we stood in solidarity. And I really felt proud of being a union member and them having our back. I mean, that's the other thing too. Like, we need to stand together as union members so that they can support us in the ways that we need to be supported.
Does the 3-year part make you nervous?
No, because I think if we can do what we did this time around, I don't think that they would renege. I think if anything, after 3 years, if the evolution of things keeps evolving as fast as it has been, we'd have to get an even better agreement.
Oh, okay. Do you think you could find yourselves in the same predicament in 3 years?
Hopefully not.